Hi everyone. Um, okay, yeah, okay, it's live. Hi, this is Natalie from Singapore. It is currently 9:30 a.m. and I've been waking up so early the last few days. I'm actually awake even though I'm so sleep deprived. Wow. Um, yeah, so I'm here today to talk about my fall walks routine. I'm just gonna talk about the day routine today. I've actually planned this out because when I'm on night shift, I basically will be coming back home at around 9 o'clock. I will do my live then, and then you can see like what I would put on at night. Um, yeah. So hi Darcy. Hi Natalie. Okay, thanks so much for joining. Okay, so I've already washed my face with aloe and oat after like I waited a bit before like just before the video, and then I wash my face with that, and I'm going to apply the botanical acid toner now, and then I'll just talk about like the different products I've been using and how I think they have helped, as well as like my routine in general. So like um, if you've been catching yeah, I have oily to combo, depending what products I'm using, oily to combo skin that is very acne prone and clog prone. Like it's been so cloggy for the last few months. It's just been really bad, and I just want to say that previously I didn't really use acids within my routine, but there are two acids in this one, the botanical acid toner and the apple cider toner, and they've really changed the way I viewed acids, because I think it's with my experience with like the beauty water that SB has, which stings a lot and I didn't like, so I switched over to the tea tree one, and it's just not as it's good, it's just not as effective, I think, as the botanical acid toner. So I know there are some people who like to leave this toner on for a few minutes. I don't have time for that. Yeah, but like it sinks in immediately, and I always feel like, especially because I take hot showers a lot. It always feels like if I don't put on my toner and my serums immediately, my skin always feels very dry. So it's slightly sticky, but like nothing like that's gonna prevent you from putting anything into your skin. Then this is the pumpkin spice latte, which I like to follow up with after. So the thing about this box is that I feel it has the best scents. Like the pumpkin spice latte smells amazing. So this is a bit more than I usually would put, but my skin feels drier. It's like a whole vial full, like yeah, the whole dropper, tiny sample size dropper full of serum, which is probably gonna translate to 3 4 full size serum drops. So pumpkin spice latte, it's a bit sticky as well, but like nothing too awful. Like once I finish off with a cream, honestly my skin feels fine. I think what it's really good for is getting okay, my video paused for a moment there because of poor connection. Okay, so I think this is really good for dealing with puffy skin. I think it's all the caffeine in this product. It's not as great. I'll probably talk about it in some point post at some point, but I don't think it's as good for moisturizing and set like the way like my favorite Asia house serum is, which is what I prefer to usually like start with after toner. But it does a really good job with dealing with like puffiness. Okay, so there's my skin feeling a bit sticky now, and here's the apple cider serum. This one's a bit more viscous than the pumpkin spice, and it smells so bloody good. Like this box, like I said, it's just full of like really good scents, and all, you know how all the SV scents are just like, you can tell they're expensive and they're not like cheaply made or cheaply fragrant. It's just such a joy to put this on. So apple cider, this is the product I take in and out of my regime because still not comfortable with using acids every day, but it's very gently formulated, and I would never ever think to use an acid with a retinol like durian grey beauty oil is, but I do it with this because it's so well formulated, it's so gently formulated. Okay, my skin is very sticky now, but it smells like apple and I'm not complaining. So apple cider syrup, it's really bloody good for dealing with all these clogs. Oh my god, do you see how smooth my skin looks right now? Like, it was so clogged up at the beginning of this not this life, like at the start of this regime. And like, I mean, this side was okay, but there was still some pieces that were around here, and they're all gone. And like, this stuff still needs healing, but it's very, very smooth. Like, there's very little actual like protrusions out of the skin. That's incredible. Okay, this is a apple cider serum. Is thicker than pumpkin spice serum, Natalie. Yeah, it is. It's more viscous. Yeah. Okay, so what I've been doing is that these are non-4 box items. This is just how I incorporate other things in. Like, as you can be able to see, my skin here around my eye is very patchy and pink. So I don't think there is anything in the 4 box that honestly helps this as an individual product. So I've been using like anti-aging eye gel oil, which is mostly argan oil, or I would use more honey. So it's just been really dry and scaly, like eczema or something. Today I'm gonna try using Hydra instead, to hopefully, like, which has a lot of argan oil and witch hazel, and will hopefully just heal the skin around it. Oh, and here's the other thing: when you're applying eye products, you have to be careful to not put it too close to your eye. The product will travel anyway, like it'll like diffuse throughout your skin. So don't go too near your eye. Okay, I put too much, so I'm just gonna put the excess on my other eye, and whatever's left over can go onto my neck. Okay, right. This is where most people usually finish off with the Ekaterina cream, which I adore. I have bought 3 jars of this cream. The first one, 2 of them were for my mom. Then 1 was for myself. Then I ended up giving over to my mom. It's not that I don't like this cream. I love it. It has a texture like no other cream in the SB series because it's been whipped. It smells absolutely divine. Yeah, it smells amazing. It is basically like the gold flakes on top. People are afraid to mix it, but there are gold flakes spread and dispersed throughout the entire cream. So don't be afraid to use the gold flakes on top. It's just entirely for aesthetic purposes. It is a great cream. Unfortunately, I think it's a cream that's not working so well for me right now because I've really been focusing on healing and dealing with my acne. So like, I'm gonna take this with me later. I'm gonna go for yoga, and then it's a great cream because as I don't want to bring the serum bottles with me because they're all glass, and if I just want something to slap on, I'll just maybe use my Hydra or more honey, and I'll just slap this on as a cream, and I know my skin will stay matte and very glowy and beautiful without having to put any makeup on. But it's just not what's working for my specific skin type at the moment, and I have been using the donkey cream instead in the day to just make sure that all these heals up. But as my skin is getting better, I suspect like I just need 3 or 4 more days of this, and I'm gonna start using this full time. Also bear in mind, the travel size Ekaterina creams are actually larger than your usual sample size, and that's why like individually as a product they're actually also a lot more expensive. So honestly, you're getting a lot of money for your you're getting a lot for your money when you buy the 4 box. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put on my donkey cream, and I'm gonna follow this up with an SPF, which I will do off camera. As you can tell, I use a lot. I'm very liberal with my usage of products, especially when I have a giant full-size jar like this. So like, I like to just take it over in little patches, bring the rest down my neck because your neck is super important. And like, I tend to get a lot of acne in this area and in my back area as well, which is probably why like I'm running out of my aloe and oat so quickly, because I like to use it all over my body as well. So then I just spread the rest of my face. Yeah, like I used to over apply products a lot, and if you over apply any of the creams, they will leave your skin feeling really greasy after a few hours. I learned the way to deal with that is to just like I did, apply like as little and then bring the rest down to the rest of its skin, and then you just like pat it in after that. Yeah, then after this I would be applying sunscreen. So this is my this is my AM routine, what I've been doing for the last few days. I will obviously like substitute in some serums and take out some serums depending how I feel my skin is that day. And I think that's a big reason why the Korean beauty regime is just so great. It gives you a lot of flexibility in listening to your skin really every morning and deciding what you want to do. So like like pumpkin spice latte is great for the morning, especially when I wake up at 5 a.m. and you just depuffify your skin. But there are days when my skin is just feeling drier than usual because I spend hours and hours in air conditioning at work. So I will take out apple cider, for example, and if I'm just not feeling the acid that day, and I'll just put in Asia Powerhouse serum instead, for example. Or if I want my clogs to get an extra boost, I will use peat. So I personally feel that this box cannot substitute my skincare regime because it's a great box for exfoliating and brightening. There are products and these are all effects that help to reduce acne, but it's not the best possible box to get, like, products to get rid of acne for me. So like how Donkey Cream is just works better for me than Ekaterina, even though I love the texture and the smell of Ekaterina better. But like it's a great way for you to be able to try different things. I am gonna go off now. If you're watching this via YouTube, like, subscribe. I will reply to the comments within the comment box itself. Have a nice day, everyone.